day dedicated to recognize humanitarian personnel and those who have lost their lives working for humanitarian causes. It was designated by the United Nations General Assembly as part of a Swedish-sponsored GA resolution on the strengthening of the coordination of emergency assistance of the United Nations and set as 19 August. On this special day, we cannot set aside the humanitarian kits around us. Hope you all remember the kids of Gandhi Bhavan who contributed their entire coin collection to Chief Minister's Distress Relief Fund last year. Like this, there are many more stories of humanitarian kits around the world. Let us remember them too on this day. On World Humanitarian Day, August 19, the world commemorates humanitarian workers killed and injured in the course of their work, and we honor all aid and health workers who continue despite the odds to provide life-saving support and protection to people most in need. This year, World Humanitarian Day comes as the world continues to fight the COVID-19 pandemic over the recent months. This day was designated in memory of 19 August 2003 bomb attack on the Canal Hotel in Baghdad, Iraq, killing 22 people, including the chief humanitarian in Iraq, Sergio De Mello. In 2009, the United Nations General Assembly formalized the day as World Humanitarian Day. Now we bring to you a list of 11 heroes who have achieved extraordinary feats and moved our country forward.
K. Naushad, Kerala's own Naushadika, is a street vendor in Kochi. He conquered the heart of all Keralites by donating nearly 10 sacks of new clothes, which was kept in his godown for each sale to those who are affected by flood in the year 2019. He did not think twice while opening the sealed bundles of new clothes for donating to the flood relief camps. He could have made profit by selling them as usual, but he thought differently. It is that thought of humanity which made him different from others. When majority of people prefer to give used clothes to the needy, Mr. Naushad has donated almost all his earnings as new clothes to bring a smile on the faces of people whom he has neither met nor known. Thus, he showcased a model of compassion and brotherhood.
Sister Lini Puducherry, India's hero nurse who died battling Nipah virus. 31-year-old Sister Lini Puducherry worked at the Perambra Health Center. On April 2018, a Nipah virus infected patient was admitted in Perambra Health Center. On that day, she was starting her night shift. The patient shows symptoms like fever and difficulty breathing, which struck her as unusual. But her job was to care for him. So she gave him fluids and paracetamol, changed his sweaty clothes and sheets, and sat up with him all night long. The very next day, Sister Lini fell ill and her condition deteriorated. She scribbled a letter addressed to her husband, and she wrote that, "I don't think I will be able to see you again. Sorry. Please raise our children well." She left the world by leaving her children here. Sister Lini Puducherry's death is being hailed as a sacrifice. Also, in 2019, Sister Lini Puducherry honored with Florence Nightingale Award as a mark of recognition of meritorious service done by her.
Mary Sebastian, a woman who hails from a low-income family in Kumbalangi, has been the talk of the town recently due to her kind-hearted action to those affected by nature's fury at Chellanam in Kerala's Ernakulam district. She kept a 100-rupee note in a food packet meant for the people affected by the floods at Chellanam. Unfortunately, that food packet reached in the hands of a police officer who was surprised to see the 100-rupee note in it and who in later revealed the kind action of Mary Sebastian to the world. When people asked Mary what prompted her to do such an action, she had only one answer to it. I just thought that it would help someone in a small way.
Aparna Lavakumar, a civil police officer at Irnyalakuda Women's Police Station, had hawked headlines in 2018 when she donated her gold bangles to release a dead body from a private hospital in Thrissur. The children of a homemaker who died of domestic violence were struggling to settle the hospital bill of Rs 60,000 to get their mother's body released when Aparna reached the site to conduct the inquest. Moved by the tears of the children, Aparna gave them the 3 gold bangles she was wearing. Media hailed the humane gestures of this young lady cop. After 11 years, the 46-year-old Aparna is again in news as she shaved her head and donated a thick lock of hair to make wigs for cancer patients. On Manorama caught up with Aparna, whose selfless gestures is now hailed by many.
Kerala's rescue team of fishermen are the unsung heroes who rescued thousands in Kerala floods. Last 2 years, that is, in 2019 and 2020, Kerala had faced the worst floods in a century, which killed hundreds of people, left dozens missing, and about 1 million sheltering in temporary camps. It was the fishermen of Kerala who rescued their more affluent neighbors when official rescue response team faced delays. The timely action of the fishermen in Kerala saved the lives of thousands who would have lost their lives in the absence of them. Fishermen who turned out to be heroes at the time of flood came in about 600 boats to rescue those trapped in the flood. Let us remember them with reverence on this day.
Kailash Satyarthi is an Indian social reformer who is known for activism for children's rights and children's education. In 1980, Satyarthi gave up his career as an electrical engineer and then founded the Bachpan Bachao Andolan. Kailash Satyarthi and his team at Bachpan Bachao Andolan have liberated more than 81,000 children in India from child labor, slavery and trafficking. In 1998, Satyarthi conceived and led the Global March Against Child Labor, an 80,000 kilometer long march across 103 countries to put forth a global demand against worst forms of child labor. This became one of the largest social movements ever on behalf of exploited children. The demands of the marchers, which included children and youth, particularly the survivors of trafficking, for forced labor, exploitation, sexual abuse, illegal organ transplants, armed conflicts, etc., were reflected in the draft of the ILO Convention 192 on the worst forms of child labor. The following year, the convention was unanimously adopted at the ILO conference in Geneva. He is the founder of Global March Against Child Labor, Global Campaign for Education, and Kailash Satyarthi Children's Foundation. In 2014, he was the co-recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize along with Malala Yousafzai for their struggle against the suppression of children and young people and for the right of all children to education. Kailash Satyarthi received numerous awards, such as Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights Award in 1995, Wallenberg Medal in 2002, and CNN-IBN Indian of the Year Outstanding Achievement Award in 2015.
Dr. Sunitha Krishnan is an Indian social activist and chief functionary and co-founder of Prajwala, a non-governmental organization that rescues, rehabilitates, and reintegrates sex-trafficked victims into society. She works in the areas of anti-human trafficking and social policy. Her organization, Prajwala, shelters rescued women and children and set up one of the largest rehabilitation homes in the country. She is making it possible for NGOs to manage jointly a range of protective and rehabilitative services for women and children who have been trafficked for commercial sexual exploitation. She was awarded India's fourth highest civilian award, the Padma Shri, in 2016.
Sindhutai Sabkar, affectionately known as Mother of Orphans, is an Indian social worker and activist known particularly for her work in raising orphan children in India. She was born in Maharashtra and she couldn't complete her studies due to early marriage. She faced many difficulties in her life, but she didn't lose hope. At the young age of 20, when 9 months pregnant, she was beaten badly and left to die by her husband. She gave birth to a baby girl in that semi-conscious state and struggled to stay alive. She realized that there were many children abandoned by their parents, and she adopted them as her own and started begging even more vigorously to feed them. Nearly 1,400 students were adopted, and now many of them, including her daughter, are well-educated lawyers and doctors and are running their own independent orphanages. On March 8, 2018, she has been honored with Nari Shakti Puraskar 2017 by the President of India.
Gangadhara Tilak Katnam, who is popularly known as Road Doctor, is a living legend who lives in Hyderabad. Once, when Katnam was driving to his office, he suddenly drove into a porthole, which in turn drenched school children in uniforms who were walking to school. Katnam, who felt awful by this incident, complained to police, hoping that they will take an action to fill up the porthole. But as no initiative was made by the police, Katnam decided to fill the porthole on his own. Thus, there started his journey to help people live in a pothole-free city. Katnam, who quit his job to devote his full time to fix roads, has filled about 2,000 potholes so far. Seeing the dedication of Katnam to fix roads, his son created a website and a Facebook page for his cause, calling it Shramadan, with a helpline for people to call and inform about potholes in various locations. Katnam, for his exceptional humanitarian services, has received numerous awards such as True Legend of Hyderabad, Inspiring Indian, Vision India Abdul Kalam Youth Award, and many more.
Omkar Nath Sharma, born in India, also known as the Medicine Baba. He is a retired blood bank technician from Kailas Hospital in Great Noida, Uttar Pradesh, India, who voluntarily collected unused medicine from people and distributed them to the poor for free of charges. Omkar started collecting medicine after realizing the acute medicine shortage when she witnessed the Delhi metro under construction bed collapsed in East Delhi in 2018, claiming the lives of 2 laborers and injuring many others. The local hospital administered basic first aid and nothing else. The injured returned home to die, being unable to afford the cost of treatments. That incident shocks Omkar, and she became determined to not let something like this happen again. He awarded 2050 Delhi Aqua Award and 2017 Shower Award Mumbai.
Green Warrior Padmasri Daripalli Ramaya, known as Chetla Ramaya, is an Indian social worker known for his social forestry initiative. On a mission to bring back the green cover, he is estimated to have planted more than 1 crore saplings in and around his district in Telangana. Ramaya is known to carry seeds in his pockets and plants on his cycle as he goes around replenishing nature. Seeds are the secrets of evolution, he believes. He truly recognizes the need to plant trees to save our environment and desperately plants saplings in each and every barren land he passes by. The life of Daripalli Ramaya is a tall standing example of how man and nature are intertwined with one another. He is one of those rare gifted souls who thrive to make this world a better place for others through selfless activities and sincere efforts.
On this 11th year of World Humanitarian Day, we are paying special tribute to the real-life heroes who have committed their lives to helping others in the most extreme circumstances throughout the world. As we all know, World Humanitarian Day comes as the world continues to fight the COVID-19 pandemic over the recent months. Aid workers are overcoming unprecedented access hurdles to assist people in humanitarian crisis in 54 countries as well as in a further 9 countries which have been catapulted into humanitarian need by the COVID-19 pandemic. This year, COVID-19 has been the biggest challenge to humanitarian operations around the world. It is true that our obsession with myths and legends has been with us since the dawn of culture. Their fictional fantastic feats, embodied enemies, and arduous journey teach us how to dream big and summon the courage needed to do what is right. However, the heroes of our world here and now are just as worthy of admiration and celebration because they are real. They are real, choosing to help in the most extreme circumstances, and their stories show that real-life heroes exhibit an uncanny ability to persevere despite the odds and to do so with humility and dedication. Thank you to the people who have committed their lives to helping others. This is a small tribute on this dedicated people on this dedicated day for the real humanitarian from our Commerce Club, Elton. Thank you.